Let's talk about the Middle East, dear professors. Let's talk about Syria. Let's start talking about the rising tensions there, and let's start this episode with Enes Bayrakli. My dear teacher in Suez province, there are very fierce clashes between the Druze and Bedouin Arab tribes, and these clashes are growing. There are also casualties, for example, as he wrote on the screen. The Syrian army, which was deployed to the region to stop the clashes, was attacked. 18 soldiers were killed and 9 soldiers were taken hostage. We will try to elaborate on this in this section, but the main conflict is what is happening now in Syria. Why have we once again seen these violent conflicts? Let's make such an introduction and then let's elaborate on the headings, dear teacher. Here you go.
Yes, there are actors who do not want Syria to stabilize naturally. First of all, of course, Israel. Israel does not want Syria to stabilize. On the contrary, it wants Syria to be divided. For this purpose, it supports or provokes some ethnic and sectarian minorities in Syria. Here, of course, the Druze are one of them. They are in the Suwaida region, close to the border with Israel. Therefore, by inciting them, of course, not all of them, there are different groups within the Druze. Some of them are loners who cooperate with Israel, some are not. So, by mobilizing those who are lonely to cooperate there, Israel has a dream of creating a Druze state. From time to time, clashes flare up here. Government forces are taking control again, or negotiations are taking place. On the one hand, of course, there is an Alawite state in the north, a pseudo-PKK state centered on Latakia, again east of the Euphrates, and of course in the north along the Turkish border. Israel has a dream of establishing. And of course here, apart from that, there are other actors who want to destabilize Syria. One of them is Iran. From the beginning, Iran could not digest its failure in Syria and did its best to destabilize Syria. So, where does it all lead from here? Actually, Israel, we know that the warplanes were somehow involved, that they made various bombs.
They are targeting points, for example, that is also remarkable.
In other words, Israel is dreaming of establishing a Druze state here under its protection. In this way, it will establish a buffer state between its southern borders, that is the south of Syria and Israel. Of course, you know in Syria there are Druze in Israel, and a significant number of them are pro-Israeli only in the Golan Heights. In other words, some of the Druze in the occupied Syrian Golan Heights, which is Syrian territory, are not in favor of either reciprocity or cooperation with Israel. There are the Druze in Lebanon. But we see that Israel's policy in the region is the classic imperialist policy of divide and rule. Already from the beginning, since the creation of Israel, the non-Arab, provoking ethnic groups, minorities, has a strategy based on provoking sectarian groups and ensuring that there is no strong state in the region, Israel. Turkey is actually targeted within this framework because Israel does not want a strong state in this geography. It is afraid that a strong state could tomorrow prevent its own policies, could put a stop to its expansionist policies, its massacring policies. Therefore, it has also started to target Turkey. In other words, on a rhetorical level, after Bashar al-Assad toppled the Assad strategy in Syria, the Israeli press immediately started to publish publications against Turkey. From this point of view, we can say that Israel is behind what is happening here in Suwaida. If Israel withdrew its support, I think Syria would be completely stabilized to a great extent today.